With the 93rd running of the prestigious Comrades Marathon set to take place on June 10, the Comrades Marathon Association has sent out a stern warning to ambush marketers. The CMA says it's seen a trend of different tactics being employed by businesses and individuals with no legal link to the Comrades Marathon. They're all trying to promote services and brands, I guess. The CMA's General Manager, Chris Fisher, joins us on Mags on Media. Chris, welcome to you. I am assuming that this is not a new problem, is it?
Jeremy, it's an age-old problem. Each year we have 54 different partners that pay to be associated with the Comrades Marathon, and we afford them sponsorship rights. Come Comrades Day, because of the 6 million viewers watching it on television and the 500,000 people on the side of the road, unfortunately the temptation is there, and a lot of people that have not paid the sponsorship fee and don't have the rights can't resist the temptation to do ambush marketing.
So specifically then, how would the event be ambushed? What have you seen in the past?
Jeremy, we've registered the words Comrades Marathon, the Hermes device, and obviously the Comrades logo with the Registry of Trademarks in Pretoria, and we allow our partners the privilege of actually using the Comrades brand alongside their brands to promote their brands. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that decide on Comrades Day that they're going to put up branding of their own along the route, which they're not allowed to do within 6 meters of either side of the road, because that's municipal property, and that's afforded to Comrades on the day. And
so they would come across as being officially endorsed.
Absolutely. They'll put up branding right in the line of the television cameras in order to create the impression to the consumer that they are actually legally associated to the brand.
So who's done this in the past? Are you prepared to name and shame?
I can tell you that political parties have done it. I can tell you that pharmaceutical companies have done it, big brands. And when we have brand sheriffs on the day, and the brand sheriffs travel the route in front of the race and have a look at all possible ambush marketing that's taking place and hand out legal letters to the individuals. And a lot of the companies do take heed and they take their stuff down.
But difficult to prosecute.
Very difficult to prosecute, but you don't want to be named and shamed for having done that. You don't want a letter to go to your CEO to say to him that in actual fact you were a little bit over-enthusiastic and you were where you shouldn't have been.
Difficult for these brand sheriffs to actually do their job, though. I mean, we're talking, what, a route of 90-odd kilometres. How do they do that?
We started first light. We're fortunate. We've got 44 refreshment stations along the route. And at each of those refreshment stations, we have a brand sheriff. And those brand sheriffs walk up and down the road, particularly where there are television cameras, and hand out legal letters and ask people very nicely to please move back 6 meters. Some do, some don't.
And there's nothing you can do about it if they choose to move 6 meters back.
6 meters back's fine.
And still erect their sign.
Jeremy, we don't have a problem with somebody putting up their business gazebo and having a braai.
Coming out to enjoy the day.
To enjoy themselves. Absolutely no problem with that.
But it's a tactical
campaign
that you would be worried about.
But when people put up inflatable bridges across the road and use aeroplanes to fly over dragging messages...
You're not going to stop that, though, are you?
You can't stop it, but we can certainly take pictures of it, and we'll certainly take it up with the people that do it. But all we're trying to do is protect the rights of our sponsors.
Do you have a sense that this year is going to be any different, given that you've put the stern message out, that obviously you're amping up the so-called brand sheriffs, or is it just going to be another day of difficulty for you?
Jeremy,
marching up and down the road, shouting at people.
I hope it works. I really do hope that people actually look at it for what it is and say, it's actually not cricket. Let's not do it. By all means, if you have a business along the route and you're inside your premises, go mad.
Knock yourself out.
Absolutely.
What damage, real damage, Chris Fisher, do you think this really does to the Comrades brand? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, people are focused really on the runners, aren't they?
No, they are. But, you know, we've got valuable partners like Avis Budget, and some of the car hire companies do tend to be a lot more visible than at any other event. And we urge them not to. We've asked them numerous times. This time we're going to actually have to name and shame, I'm afraid.
What's led you to this conclusion this year? Do you have a sense that it's just going to be a little bit more onerous this year than in previous years?
The entries for the race filled up in 3 weeks. We got 23,000 people that entered. We'll have 21,000 people that start.
And it's a global event.
It's a global event. You know, we've got close to 2,000 internationals and rest of Africa runners. Our novices, every 1 in 3 is a novice this year. Every 1 in 4 is a female this year. So all the signs are there. It's going to be a massive event. And finishing at Moses Mabhida is it's an iconic stadium. It's really going to make a statement.
Chris Fisher, we'll see if you guys are true to your word and name and shame. It'll be interesting to see what happens post the event. General Manager at the Comrades Marathon Association, the event taking place on June 10 this year. Now, talking of disruption, iStarring Cinemas, a pop-up cinema concept, is set to change the way we think about locally produced films. But above and beyond bringing local films to audiences, iStarring Cinemas actually give moviegoers an opportunity to own a part of the concept, as we're about to show you.
Basically, the concept is this, that we want to put a bunch of cinemas across the country in accessible places that are actually owned by the people. So what we did was started a crowdfunding campaign where people contributed from as little as 150 Rand to buy a piece of the cinema and get a ticket to the premiere of the movie. And they're going to earn their share of 15% of every ticket we sell for the next 5 years. The whole drive is around driving local content. And how do you change the culture of consuming local content? You let the people own them. If you look at the cinema industry in South Africa, you have a 1.2 billion ticket sale industry, 45 million Rand of that. That's the only thing that goes to South African films. And when you look at the knock-on effects of the film industry, it's 12.4 billion in the economy. So the plan is to allow people to own the content and change the culture of how we consume film, because it's got such a strong knock-on effect in the rest of the economy. As you can see, we've got a bunch of merchants who are enjoying the benefits of having a crowd pulled together for entertainment. Some of the other campaigns we've crowdfunded, like for example, Stimela Craft Beer. We've been lucky to have movies brought to us by indigenous film. We work very closely with them. So we've got Five Fingers for Marseille, and then we also have Love by Chance. We've got Wonder Boy for President. So we've mixed it up with the old movies and the new movies, right? And the response has been overwhelmingly great. We just want to put the content out there, right? Because a lot of people don't know that this quality content actually exists in our cinemas, because everyone goes and watches Black Panther, which is a great thing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that movie is very important for representation and that sort of thing, right? Though we also have very amazing content here in South Africa.
I deserve the best. Now please, put some respect on it.
Next on Mags on Media, Facebook faces facts after the big data analytics scandal and how a financial management brand is hoping to connect with a global audience through a South African fable.